Nightly News with Georgie Gardner.
Tonight, Shane Warne and Mark Waugh front Pakistan's match-fixing inquiry. Bill Clinton's lengthy impeachment trial begins. And playtime for the Scud ahead of tomorrow's Hopman Cup final. Good evening. Test cricketers Shane Warne and Mark Waugh have faced the Pakistan bribery hearing at a special sitting in Melbourne, the pair denying they've ever thrown a game. They now want to put the matter behind them as they prepare to lead Australia in the one-day series.
Good morning. How are you going?
Playing a straight bat, Mark Waugh and Shane Warne arrive at the Pakistan match-fixing inquiry, about to receive a barrage of verbal bounces.
Well, I didn't fix it, no.
Salim Malik's lawyer, Azmat Saeed, didn't hold back, accusing Warne and Waugh of concocting their story. The former Pakistan captain offered $200,000 on two separate occasions to lose a match. But it's not Warne and Waugh who are on trial. The Pakistan High Court investigating Malik's involvement in match fixing. Do you believe at the end of the day Salim Malik will be cleared?
I am sure going to try as hell. That is belief. That's what I get paid for.
The two Australians were also attacked for accepting money in return for pitch and weather information from a man identified only as John. Warne, in a statement, said John told him, "I saw you lose some money at the casino last night. Here's a token of my appreciation. You're my favourite player. Please take it. There's no strings attached."
I think looking back, they might have been, linked in some way, but I'm unaware of any of that. And as I said before, I've never, ever been involved in match fixing or bribery.
The one question that remains unanswered is who is John, the mysterious Indian bookmaker who managed to befriend Mark Waugh and then Shane Warne after a chance meeting in Hong Kong, who for just $11,000 has managed to damage their reputation forever.
Well, John never asked us to fix a match. Whether he's done that to other players, we don't know that. And whether he's an illegal bookmaker, I don't know either.
Confident the public will forgive their mistake, the pair headed off to lead the one-day side in Brisbane. The bribery scandal set to continue in New Zealand, where the ICC will vote on a motion to ban both Warne and Waugh for life. Mark Doran, 7 Nightly News.
A motorist's nightmare north of Sydney today, an overturned beer truck blocking the main freeway out of the city. All day, drivers sweltered in the heat, their cars boiling over. Tonight, the F3 is open, but still moving slowly.
75,000 people use the F3 daily. Most of them wish they hadn't today. The traffic had been at a virtual standstill since a freeway pile-up at 3:30 this morning. And as the temperature increased, so did the anger.
And it is now 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous.
The cause, a beer truck smash which left the driver injured and shattered beer bottles and debris across 3 lanes. Dramatic, but no one could understand why the clear-up took so long.
Pretty frustrated, yeah, like, it's a 3-lane freeway. Why is the traffic not moving? What are they up there doing, getting the straws and sucking the beer up or something?
We couldn't run a bloody chook raffle in a pub on Sunday afternoon.
Cars overheated, dozens of them littered the freeway's shoulders, even 2 police commodores, and everyone was suffering.
They're starting to feel the heat and the air conditioners are starting to give out.
A lot of frustrated motorists?
Heaps.
By midday, ambulance and Salvation Army teams were out.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Providing water to anyone that needed it.
Bit of refreshment. They're all dying on their feet down there.
I'm hot and I need a drink.
And supply couldn't keep up with demand.
We've just had another order for about 2,000 more cups.
At one stage, ambulances were forced to patrol the entire length of the F3 traffic snarl, treating people for heat exhaustion.
Police said it couldn't be cleared any faster. The truck stuck fast in an awkward position. All 26 tonnes of beer had to be moved by hand. And there was more chaos late afternoon. An accident in a free-moving northbound lane, apparently as commuters slowed to look at the crash scene. For some, only one thing to do, only one song to sing.
I'm on the highway to hell.
Chris Reason, 7 Nightly News.
Travellers were also today delayed in Perth when a bushfire threatened the city's airport. Thick smoke forced police to close roads leading to the international terminal. With the airport still operating, passengers had to use emergency access roads instead. Flames came within 500 metres of the control tower. A water bomber was called in to stop the fire moving any closer. An investigation's underway into the discovery of a hacksaw blade in the jail cell of backpacker killer Ivan Milat. New South Wales prison officials say the small piece of blade was found in a packet of biscuits during a search at the maximum security Goulburn jail. Malat's cell is inspected daily. The blade was picked up by a metal detector. The serial killer was transferred to Goulburn from Maitland after an earlier jailbreak was foiled. Malat is to spend his life in jail for the murder of 7 backpackers. Their bodies were found in the Belanglo State Forest in New South Wales in 1992 and 1993. One of Mexico's most wanted men is fighting extradition from Melbourne to face fraud charges involving almost $400 million. Carlos Cabal was on the run for 5 years before being arrested in Melbourne last year. Today, his lawyers argued in court that Cabal is the victim of political persecution. The fugitive is facing 26 charges of embezzlement from Mexico's Union Bank, where he was chairman. Cabal's wife, Teresa, is also fighting for her freedom at Melbourne's federal court. 2 teenage girls are dead after a high-speed police chase through Brisbane. They were killed when the Holden Commodore they were in smashed into a wall. Another girl was seriously injured. Police say they'd been following the Commodore, a suspected stolen car, when it rolled and crashed. Its 19-year-old male driver has been charged with unlawful use of a motor vehicle. A full investigation is underway. Plane crash survivor Victoria Friend is recovering from her first operation, and doctors say it was more successful than they'd hoped. Victoria is still unable to speak, but today her parents described their daughter as remarkable.
She's just a girl made of good stuff, says her dad.
We love her dearly, but she didn't do any more or any less than I would have expected.
The real hero of the mountaintop crash, he believes, his daughter's partner and pilot, Jeff Henderson.
And I think his thoughts would have been riveted on making it as good as possible for Victoria's survival.
Mr. Henderson died beside her near the wreckage during the 2-day wait for rescue. The family convinced Victoria could never have dragged him clear of the blazing cockpit.
Jeff would have had to have got her out of that plane, and he was virtually mortally wounded.
But Victoria remains very much the hero among medical and nursing staff, continuing to stun and amaze everyone with the speed of her recovery.
Yesterday's surgery went much better than expected.
In a 2.5-hour operation, more than half her burn injuries were successfully grafted with new skin. She'll need just one more trip to theatre before the long process of rehabilitation begins.
She's got a core of strength within her.
And there's no doubt she'll make it through.
Give in are 2 words that is just not used in our household.
John Collis, 7 Nightly News.
There's reassuring news for women who've been taking the contraceptive pill. A major new study shows that 10 years after you stop taking it, all side effects should disappear.
What are the health problems if I go on the pill?
They are really minimal.
And now a 25-year study of 46,000 women has proved that for the 39 years the pill's been on the market, women have been warned long-term use could lead to breast cancer, heart disease, even stroke. Not anymore. The study published in the British Medical Journal found that women who stopped taking the pill face no greater health risks 10 years on than women who'd never used it.
So basically there's no persistent effect at all.
The National Breast Cancer Centre says it's great news.
It's a good news story. It's wonderful for women and for doctors to be able to reassure their patients that there is no increased risk.
As someone who's worked in the field for many years now, every time a pill scare hit the paper, there were a large number of women who actually decided not to take the pill, or that it was far too risky.
As for the first 10 years after women stopped taking the pill, well, there is still an increased risk of getting breast cancer, but doctors say it is an extremely small one. Even better news for the 100 million women who took the pill this morning. They've also reduced their chance of developing ovarian cancer. Joanna Rouse, 7 Nightly News.
After endless delays, the team behind the latest round-the-world balloon mission is now confident of a weekend launch. Time's running out for the joint Australian-American effort. It must be airborne within the week.
An early morning start today for Team Remax. Pilots John Wallington and Dave Liniger turning their eyes skyward on a perfect morning for ballooning. Hot air ballooning, that is. The wind still too strong to launch their giant helium weather balloon.
We didn't have launch weather this morning. It's forecast to be better tomorrow.
much better on Sunday, and so we're going to take it day by day.
For the first time today, this bold mission to send 2 men into space on a circumnavigation of the globe appeared ready for takeoff.
The only suit of clothing I ever had that's worth more than their house.
Canberra's John Wallington jumping for joy at the thought of flying into history.
Actually, it's a pretty great sensation after all this time waiting. But it's really kind of daunting as well. You realise how complex all the equipment is.
It's inside this pressurised gondola cabin where Dave Liniger and John Wallington will spend up to 18 days. And should anything go wrong or the cabin lose pressure, they'll rely on their Russian spacesuits to keep them alive. Critics continue to describe this mission as suicide, but those they'll leave behind don't appear worried.
I wish I was going. And I was thinking, that suit fits me.
In Alice Springs, John Flynn, 7 Nightly News.
There's a friendship that's blossomed trackside in Melbourne that proves age doesn't matter. Little Christopher Park has been blind since birth, but he's seeing the magical side of life thanks to a special mate.
In a world of darkness, Christopher Park has found a friend. At 3.5, he's been blind since birth, but a chance meeting at a local shopping centre has led him to trotting trainer Les Turner, his first real special mate. And while their lives and ages might be worlds apart, this unique friendship between the trainer and the little boy has proved it's made of strong stuff.
Give him a pat. Hey, give him a pat.
They've been catching up every week for almost a year. Christopher now calls his mate Papa Les, and his mentor says it's an honour to be loved by someone who hasn't even seen his face.
No, he feels his way around by the leg or by the hand, you know. God bless him.
And Christopher is blossoming under the trainer's watchful eye.
And it will become stronger as we, come down here more often, which we do. So I think it's good, for him to have that in his life. Yep, lots of love and positive thinking.
Les now hopes to watch his littlest mate grow to be independent, and Christopher knows his papa won't let him down.
He's always got a cobber to look after him like that, you know.
Emma Power, 7 Nightly News.
Stay with 7 next. The US braces for a lengthy presidential impeachment trial. And old rocker Rod Stewart splits with his model wife. A landslide on the Indonesian holiday island of Bali has killed at least 26 people. Tons of mud collapsed down a hillside, burying workers digging an irrigation canal. Rescuers are still searching the area for 15 other workers who are missing, feared dead. The landslide happened in a small village 35 kilometres north of the Balinese capital, Denpasar. Grieving villagers have already begun burying relatives killed in the disaster. The United States is bracing for what's expected to be a very long and drawn-out impeachment trial. President Bill Clinton is now at the mercy of senators who can't decide what to do next.
In solemn procession, the president's prosecutors, 13 Republicans, arrived in the Senate chamber.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons are commanded to keep silent on pain of imprisonment.
Then the charges.
William Jefferson Clinton willfully provided perjurious, false, and misleading testimony. William Jefferson Clinton has prevented, obstructed, and impeded the administration of justice.
100 senators sworn in to render impartial justice, and while they took their oath, business as usual for the president, promising more money for education. But White House officials warn if Republicans insist on calling witnesses like Monica Lewinsky, there'll be countless delays, dragging the trial on for months.
Bringing witnesses in and not stipulating to a record opens up a whole area of motions, discovery, and depositions, and that takes time.
Republicans and Democrats are also deeply divided on simple guidelines, how long for arguments, and when the trial should actually start. All 100 senators will meet tomorrow away from the cameras and the public to try and reach agreement, no doubt mindful that most Americans don't want the president put on trial, let alone removed from office. In Washington, John Vors, 7 Nightly News.
Royal bride-to-be Sophie Rees-Jones has had little rest from journalists since she and Prince Edward announced their engagement. In scenes reminiscent of the frenzy surrounding Princess Diana, Sophie is discovering there's no such thing as business as usual.
Officer,
It was like Diana all over again. On the first day of her new life, Sophie Rees-Jones is swamped by photographers as she makes the short walk from the car to the office door. Something else she'll have to get used to, the constant police presence now she's officially to join the royal family. These scenes are eerily familiar. Back in 1980, a very young Diana was subjected to the same frenzied attention when it was announced she was marrying Prince Charles. Sophie is older, and as head of her own PR firm, she's more experienced at dealing with media. But there are striking similarities between the two women. People have always compared the way they looked, the way they dressed, even the way they laughed. Now they're comparing the two marriages, and this is where most commentators say the similarities end.
They've known each other for 5 years, and they've said they're very good friends, which is an important part in marriage. And the other thing is that Sophie's had time to really get to know the royal family. It's not just marrying Prince Edward, it's marrying into the whole family.
In London, Myra Pritchard, 7 Nightly News.
Ageing rocker Rod Stewart has split from his model wife, Rachel Hunter. The couple has confirmed they're separating, but say they have no immediate plans for divorce. They have 2 children, Renee, aged 6, and 4-year-old Liam. Stewart, who turns 54 this month, married Rachel in 1990 when she was 22. A new ad campaign has been launched designed to sell Australia to the rest of the world. It features our long, hot summers, exotic animals, big cities, and lashings of good old Aussie humour.
G'day, Paul.
G'day, love.
Not since Paul Hogan's
I'll slip an extra shrimp on the barbie for you.
has there been a tourism campaign like this one. 40 commercials, 12 countries, $150 million. Hogan's gone, but the seafood's still big.
I'll be right back with your main course. Thanks,
But we just like to be near the kitchen.
Won't be a minute.
The Australian Tourist Commission hopes to reach 300 million people.
They're better. They're costing $150 million.
There are kangaroos, of course, great scenery, a few backsides, and a bit of fun.
Excuse me, could I borrow that paper when you finish, love?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, I think it's very Blakey. Thought it was funny.
It's deliberately knockabout because it's part of the essential character of Australia that the world finds so appealing, but they're not blokey at all.
The New Zealanders should like them.
Hey, I'm going to ride this bloke in the Melbourne Cup. Do better than your horses, eh?
In travel surveys, people are always saying they want to come to Australia. Now they think the Opera House is the place to be to see in the new millennium. So if these commercials work, it's going to get pretty busy around these parts.
By 2001, we could have 5 million tourists a year.
This place is getting popular.
Australia. Come and say good day.
Paul Marshall, 7 Nightly News.
Our share market closed sharply lower today after yesterday's record. The All Ordinaries down 41 points, the Dow closing slightly down. News Corp led the blue chip falls, down 43 cents. National Australia down 22. Westpac slipped 40. Telstra dropped 7 cents. Brambles down 94. Coles Myer down 10 cents. The Aussie dollar's worth 63 US cents, 70 yen, around 38 British pence, and 0.54 euros. An ounce of gold worth 291 US dollars. London's FT index up 53 points in early trading. Tokyo's Nikkei closed 144 points down. And in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng up 29 points. I'll be back with all today's sport after this, including our Hopman Cup stars taking a dip ahead of tomorrow's final. And the bare necessities of beach volleyball. Tennis, and Jason Stoltenberg is through to the semi-finals of the Australian Men's Hardcourt Championships in Adelaide. Stoltenberg defeated Zimbabwe's Byron Black in straight sets early this evening. Queensland's Scott Draper is also through to the semis. And a well-earned break for Mark Philippoussis today. He took a dip with some Dolphins in Perth ahead of tomorrow's Hopman Cup final. The Scud and another young gun of Australian tennis, Jelena Dokic, blasted past France last night to secure a finals berth for Australia for the first time since 1989. They'll play Sweden, who recovered to win their tie against Switzerland after Martina Hingis took the opening rubber. Australia A has scored a 5-wicket win over Sri Lanka in their one-day cricket match at the MCG tonight, clinching the 3-match series 2-1. Australia reached Sri Lanka's target of 180 with 1 over to spare, with Andrew Simmons making 46 not out, Greg Blewett on 43. Earlier, Sri Lanka suffered a massive blow when star batsman Aravinda De Silva retired hurt. He top-scored with 45. Queenslander Kenny Druce and Andre Stoltz from New South Wales are joint leaders after the second round of the Victorian Open. Both made the most of the better conditions in the morning, while those who hit off in the afternoon struggled.
The Victoria Golf Club layout was no place for both players and spectators this afternoon.
Oh, and it got a spectator.
Gusty winds made scoring difficult. Kenny Druce recording his 68 this morning to grab a share of the lead. Jim Benepi was also in good touch with the broomstick, while Marcus Fraser didn't always need the putter.
Middle stump.
A boost for New South Wales rugby, with Citibank announcing a $5.5 million 3-year sponsorship deal. Matthew Burke, Phil Kearns and Jason Little broke from Wallaby camp for the announcement, with Burke confident his shoulder is on the mend.
I can basically say that I hope to be playing club at some stage during the season and obviously come back into Super 12.
With that, Phil Kearns believes the Waratahs are a good thing.
I don't know what our odds are, but I know a Pakistani bloke that might take something.
Beach volleyball's new dress code is causing quite a stir. Women are stripping down to their bikinis to boost the sport's sex appeal. The International Volleyball Federation is making it compulsory for the women to wear a two-piece with the sides no wider than 6 centimetres, while the men must wear long, baggy shorts.
The International Volleyball Federation is looking towards cashing in on the sexiness or the sex appeal of the sport. That's well and good, but I don't want to be recognised as a person playing a sexy sport. I want to be recognised as an Olympic athlete.
Paul Gregg, 7 Nightly News.
Taking a look now at the national weather, and on the satellite map, storm cells in Western Australia are linking up with a rain band across the southeast, bringing showers with them. The trough will continue to move east, bringing unsettled weather to the southeast. Another low is developing south of Perth. Some showers in northern Queensland. Cairns a high of 31 degrees, Brisbane sunny and 28 degrees. New South Wales will be unsettled in the north. Newcastle expecting a top of 28. Sydney will reach 25. Canberra also in for some rain and 24. Victoria, a fine day ahead. Melbourne a top of 27, Mildura 35 degrees. Tasmania also looking mainly fine. Launceston a top of 24, Hobart a cool 19 degrees. Some isolated storms in South Australia. Adelaide sunny and 35, Whyalla 35 degrees. Western Australia will be unsettled. Perth a few showers and 24 degrees. Broome 33. And in the Northern Territory, Darwin showers and 29, Alice Springs partly cloudy and 36. And that's all from the 7 Newsroom for now. I'm Georgie Gardner. Have a great weekend. I'll be back Monday. Good night.